Thank you. I'm joined today by the Deputy Prime Minister, Wayne Swan, and by the Minister for Climate Change, Greg Combet. And I'm here today to announce how Australia will seize its clean energy future. My focus will be on explaining how we will build that clean energy future. But I want to talk about two things that have brought us to this moment today. First, the avalanche of science that tells us our climate is changing. The science is in. We know that our planet is warming. We know that that warming is changing our climate, causing sea levels to rise, meaning that there will be more days of extreme heat, meaning that we are at risk of more bushfires and droughts, meaning that great icons like the Great Barrier Reef are at risk. So we are here today because the science is in, the science is clear, our planet is warming. That warming is caused by carbon pollution, by human activity, and we need to cut carbon pollution. The second thing that's brought us to this moment has been more than a decade of debate. Another female leader, Margaret Thatcher, warned the planet about the effects of climate change. John Howard, when he was Prime Minister, determined to put a price on carbon pollution. This has been a difficult debate that has brought us to this moment, and there have been false starts and there have been missteps. But we are here now, and now is the time to get this done. As a nation, we need to put a price on carbon and create a clean energy future. So, how will this all work? I know that there are many Australians who think to themselves, this is really complicated. Will I ever understand how carbon pricing works? Well, in its essence, it's incredibly simple. We will require around 500 big polluters to pay a price for every tonne of carbon pollution they put into our atmosphere. At the moment, those big polluters can release that pollution into our atmosphere for free. We will require them to pay a price per tonne. The price will be $23 at the start of the scheme, because something they used to do for free now costs them money. They will innovate, they will change, they will find a way of reducing that bill, and in doing so, they will reduce their carbon pollution. This all adds up to a reduction in carbon pollution of 160 million tonnes by 2020. That's the equivalent of taking 45 million cars off the road. It's a big difference in carbon pollution achieved by requiring polluters to pay the price. The mechanism will be a fixed price mechanism for 3 years. That works effectively like a tax. It means the government sets the price. At the end of the 3-year fixed price period, the period that works effectively like a tax, we will move to an emissions trading scheme where the amount of pollution our economy can create will be capped and a market mechanism will set the price. Now, that's the essence of pricing carbon. Of course, there are other effects that we need to deal with in this scheme. First and foremost, some of the costs that will be incurred by businesses as they pay a price for carbon will be passed through to households. So we will use more than 50% of the money paid by big polluters to provide assistance to households in the form of tax cuts and payment increases. 9 out of 10 households will get a tax cut or benefit increase or a combination of both. What that means is around 6 million households will receive enough through a tax cut or payment increase to enable them to meet the average cost of carbon pricing on them and their family. That is, to fully meet the expected impact of carbon pricing on them and their family as big polluters pass through some of the costs to things that families use every day. 4 million Australian households will get a buffer, a 20% buffer. This is pitched at lower income Australians, and that's because we understand that for lower income Australians their budgets are tight, and we want to provide them with the benefit of that buffer as we move to pricing carbon and they see some flow-through price impacts. All in all, the price impact is the equivalent of 0.7% of CPI. That is less than 1% of CPI. The modelling to give us that figure has been done by the same people who did the modelling for the GST. They were right when they modelled then, and they have provided the modelling for this package. We have determined in providing tax cuts to Australian families that we will also reform the tax system. As I believe is well known, as Prime Minister, I have put a strong emphasis on increasing workforce participation. I believe in the benefits and dignity of work. I believe in creating jobs. I believe in getting more people into our workforce so that they can enjoy the benefits that come from working, not just the financial benefits, but the sense of purpose that comes with having a job. That's why the mechanism we have used to provide tax cuts is through increasing the tax-free threshold. It will go from $6,000 per year to $18,200 a year. By using that mechanism, what we are doing is creating better incentives for people to participate in work, particularly people who are making a journey from welfare to work, and particularly second income earners in households who may be returning to work on a casual or part-time basis. This is an important tax reform. I want us to have a clean energy future. I want us as a nation to have higher workforce participation. We in this package are achieving both. Then, of course, as a result of this package, we also have to work to support Australian jobs. We want to work with businesses and industries as they make the transition that carbon pricing will bring to a clean energy economy. That's why in this package you are seeing support for important industries like the coal industry, like the steel industry, like manufacturing, like many of our businesses that generate high levels of carbon pollution but trade internationally and effectively take the world price for what they produce. In this package, clearly today, we are focusing on explaining the way that carbon pricing will work. Carbon pricing is the foundation stone of this package, but this package has three important additional elements. It's got a focus on energy efficiency. It's got a focus on renewable energy. These are also important ways of us tackling climate change, and it's got an important focus on the land sector. Out of all of those, today I want to particularly highlight the huge investments in renewable energy that this package brings. Billions of dollars of new resources to help build that clean energy future for Australia. Now, I understand, standing here as Prime Minister, this is a big day in Canberra. A lot of people in the room. It's a big day in Canberra. It's a big day as we transition our nation to a clean energy future. But I also understand it's Sunday, and right around the country, Australian families are doing what families do on Sunday, hopefully getting the benefit of a little bit of rest and respite and some family time. And for many of them, they will be sitting there thinking, what does this mean for me? Well, I want Australian families to understand what it will mean for them. Information is available to them through our cleanenergyfuture.gov.au website. I want them to understand we are seizing a clean energy future. We will cut carbon pollution. We will be tackling climate change. We will be putting a price on carbon pollution that our biggest polluters pay. Standing here as Prime Minister, I understand that this has been a long, complicated and at times a very difficult debate for Australians to follow and to listen to. My message to Australians today is we are now moving from the days of words to deeds. We have the right package. It will be in the Parliament and legislated later this year. We are going to get this done. We are going to create a clean energy future. I'll turn now to Minister Combet for some comments, to be followed by the Treasurer.